My name's Pat Brahim. My heritage is with the Warramunga people of Tennant Creek. The older family members was the first time that they actually came about to say we can be treated like the white people now. We can go to the pubs, we can go into shops, we can do those sorts of things. When I was growing up, there was always the holes in the wall where you actually did your shopping and you weren't allowed into the shops unless you had a little card. But it's also about our families. So back around that time was when a lot of the people were actually moving off the stations, coming back into Tennant Creek. And a lot of our family members came back from Alikarung at the time, or Warrabright as it was called, because we were living in town, because my mum and dad had the little dog tags and we were going to school, but we weren't allowed to associate with them because they were still traditional people type thing. And so if we bought food or clothes down to them, we had to leave it at the gate and weren't allowed to interact with them or anything like that. My grandfather and grandmother lived at McLaren Station at the time on Carter. And when they came in to do shopping, then we had to be across the other side of the road, couldn't interact with them. We were looking at 67, I was probably about 13 at the time. So you remember a whole lot of things, but you don't realise at the time what that impact had. So we grew up on the station, but because I came into town for school, then you actually start to see where the separation was in all of that. That's what I recall. One is that we can be recognised like white people. We can now go into the shops. We could probably, we didn't actually start talking to families in the town camps as they were called back then until probably about the 70s. So it's a 3-year that the people were moving in that we really didn't have any sort of interaction with them, even though we knew who they were and those sorts of things. So 67 didn't really give, the intent was never about the recognition of Aboriginal people. It was always about to recognise Aboriginal people, so it's part of the census. It was about attracting more money. It was all the other things. It wasn't about making a difference for Aboriginal people. And until Aboriginal people actually have a voice, as individuals we have a voice, but we don't have a united voice in any of the things that are really to make a difference. And probably when you start to look at what the referendum means is about, okay, that was the first thing 50 years ago, then what are the changes? And then you start to look as a parent and as a grandparent, you see the grandchildren are better educated, say probably from where I'm sitting, but then I look at my extended family and it hasn't changed. It's actually gone backwards. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but we're dealing with a lot of people that make assumptions on what's best for us. It's never about how do they work with us to make a difference and how we can be in control of our lives. As individuals we can do that, but not as a group on how we actually move forward. The referendum back then served its purpose. The next part of it is how do you hold things to account? Then how do we actually make change within the systems to enable us to be equal?